Mamma, this is Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
I hope you are well, Miss Bennet.
That lady, I suppose, is your mother.
Yes, she is.
And that, I suppose, is one of your sisters.
Yes, madam. She's my youngest girl but one. My youngest of all is lately married, and my eldest is somewhere about the grounds, walking with a young man who is soon to become a part of the family.
You have a very small park here.
Oh, it is nothing in comparison with Rosings, my lady, I dare say. But I can assure you it is much larger than Sir William Lucas's.
This must be the most inconvenient sitting room for the evening in summer. The windows are full west.
Your ladyship is quite right. But then, of course, we never sit here after dinner. Would your ladyship partake of some refreshment?
I thank you, no. Miss Bennet, there seemed to be a prettyish kind of a little wilderness on one side of your lawn. I should be glad to take a turn in it if you would favour me with your company.
Oh, my dear, show her ladyship about the different walks. I think she will be pleased with the hermitage.
You can be at no loss, Miss Bennet, to understand the reasons for my journey hither. Your own heart, your own conscience must tell you why I am come.
Indeed, you are mistaken, madam. I have not been able to account for the honour of seeing you here.
Miss Bennet, you ought to know I am not to be trifled with. But however insincere you choose to be, you shall not find me so.
My character was ever celebrated for its sincerity and frankness, and at such a moment as this I shall certainly not depart from it.
A report of the most alarming nature reached me 2 days ago.
I was told not only that your sister was to be most advantageously married, but that you, Miss Elizabeth Bennet, would be soon afterwards united to my own nephew, Mr. Darcy.
Oh, I know it must be a scandalous falsehood. Though I would not injure him so much as to suppose the truth of it possible, I instantly resolved on setting off for this place to make my sentiments known to you.
If you believed it impossible to be true, I wonder you took the trouble of coming so far. What could your ladyship propose by it?
At once to insist upon having such a report universally contradicted.
Your coming to Longbourn to see me and my family will be rather a confirmation of it, if indeed such a report is in existence.
If? Do you then pretend to be ignorant of it? Has it not been industriously circulated by yourself?
Do you not know that such a report is spread abroad?
I never heard it was.
And can you likewise declare that there is no foundation in it?
Do not pretend to possess equal frankness with your ladyship.
You may ask me questions which I shall not choose to answer.
This is not to be borne, Miss Bennet. I insist on being satisfied. Has he? Has my nephew made you an offer of marriage?
Your ladyship has declared it to be impossible.
It ought to be so. It must be so, while he retains the use of his reason.
But your arts and allurements may, in a moment of infatuation, have made him forget what he owes to himself and to all his family.
You may have drawn him in.
If I had, I should be the last person to confess it.
Miss Bennet, do you know who I am? I have not been accustomed to such language as this. I'm almost the nearest relation he has in the world, and I'm entitled to know all his dearest concerns.
But you are not entitled to know mine. Nor will any such behavior as this ever induce me to be explicit.
Let me be rightly understood. This match to which you have the presumption to aspire can never take place, no. Never.
Mr. Darcy is engaged to my daughter. Now what have you to say?
Only this, if that is the case, you can have no reason to suppose he would make an offer to me.
The engagement between them is of a peculiar kind. From their infancy they have been intended for each other. It was the favourite wish of his mother as well as hers. While she was in her cradle, we planned the union.
Is their union so long planned, so soon to be accomplished, to be prevented by a young woman of inferior birth and of no position in the world? Do you pay no regard to the wishes of his friends? Are you lost to all feelings of propriety and delicacy?
If there are no other objections to my marrying your nephew than that his mother and his aunt planned otherwise, I shall certainly not be kept from it. If Mr. Darcy is neither by honour or inclination confined to his cousin, Why may he not make another choice? And if I am that choice, why may I not accept him?
Because decorum, prudence, and interest all forbid it. Yes, Miss Bennet, interest. You will be censured, slighted and despised by everyone connected with him.
Your alliance would be a disgrace. Your name would never even be mentioned by any of us.
These are heavy misfortunes. But the wife of Mr. Darcy must have such extraordinary sources of happiness necessarily attached to her situation that she could, upon the whole, have no cause to repine.
Obstinate, headstrong girl.
I'm ashamed of you. Is this your gratitude for my attentions to you at Rosings?
I have not been in the habit of brooking disappointment.
That will make your ladyship's situation at present more pitiable, but it will have no effect on me.
I will not be interrupted.
My daughter and my nephew are formed for each other. They are descended on the maternal side from the same noble line, and on the father's from respectable, honourable, and ancient, though untitled families. Their fortune on both sides is splendid. And what is to divide them? The upstart pretensions of a young woman without family connections or fortune? Is this to be endured? It must not. It shall not be. If you were sensible of your own good, you would not wish to quit the sphere in which you had been brought up.
In marrying your nephew, I should not consider myself as quitting that sphere. He is a gentleman. I am a gentleman's daughter. So far, we are equal.
True. You are a gentleman's daughter. But who was your mother?
Who are your uncles and aunts? Do not imagine me ignorant of their condition.
Whatever my connections may be, if your nephew does not object to them, they can be nothing to you.
Tell me once and for all, are you engaged to him?
I am not.
And will you promise me never to enter into such an engagement?
I will make no promise of the kind.
I shall not go away until you have given me the assurance I require.
And I shall certainly never give it.
And I must beg you not to importune me any further on the subject.
Not so hasty, if you please. I have by no means done. I am no stranger to the particulars of your youngest sister's infamous elopement. I know it all. And that the young man's marrying her was a patched-up business at the expense of your uncle and father. And is such a girl to be my nephew's sister?
Your sister's husband? Son of a steward.
Heaven and earth, of what are you thinking? Are the shades of Pemberley to be thus polluted?
You can have nothing further to say. You have insulted me by every possible method. I must beg to return to the house.
You have no regard, then, for the honour and credit of my nephew. Unfeeling, selfish girl.
Lady Catherine, I have nothing further to say.
You are resolved to have him?
I have said no such thing. I am only resolved to act in that manner which will, in my own opinion, constitute my happiness without reference to you or anybody so wholly unconnected with me.
You refuse to oblige me. You refuse the claims of duty, honor, gratitude. You are determined to ruin him and make him the contempt of the world. And this is your final resolve? Very well, I shall know how to act. I take no leave of you, Miss Bennet. I send no compliments to your mother. You deserve no such attention. I am most seriously displeased. Drive on.